Some amazing Xbox games have been announced for release in February 2023. So let's take a closer look at the 11 games you should be playing on your Xbox this month. Deliver Us Mars. Cast your minds back to 2018 and the release of an unassuming little narrative title called Deliver Us the Moon. It had you cast away on the moon like the proverbial Tom Hanks, gathering whatever vehicles, batteries and satellite arrays you could get your hands on, all in an effort to make the trip home. This time round in Deliver Us Mars, you're not the damsel in distress, you're the recovery crew, on a mission to find and determine the fate of some Ark colony ships that have been shipnapped by a mysterious faction called the Outward. Budgets have been increased, graphics look spangly, and Deliver Us Mars looks like it might be one giant leap for the series. Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy rewinds time back to the 1800s, as you experience what it's like to be a student way before all that Voldemort nonsense. Discover magical beasts, craft potions, master spellcrafting, kick elves, and generally put the RPG in action RPG as you turn your student into one of the most powerful wizards in the land. Hopefully, this will be more Prisoner of Azkaban than whatever has happened to the Fantastic Beasts films. Wanted, Dead. Things get a little less wholesome next. Wanted Dead is an unapologetically violent shooter that likes to have its cake and eat it, as it's got a fully featured melee system too. Wanted Dead puts you in the zombie unit, an elite Hong Kong agency dedicated to dispatching the undead. You're Lieutenant Hannah Stone, a hard-boiled cop who's probably got an alcohol dependency and one final day on the job. Story-wise, Wanted Dead's heavy on the cliches, but who cares when there's so much combat and blood flowing onto the pavement. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. Tales of Symphonia is possibly the best regarded of all the Tales of games. Released on the Nintendo GameCube in 2003, at the tail end of the console's life, it's a game that fetches a pretty penny on eBay, so a remaster is going to save us all a few bob. Using the patented Tales real-time combat, Tales of Symphonia Remastered is a more action-orientated slice of JRPG. It follows Lloyd Irving as he and his friends try to save not one but two worlds in a kind of interplanetary bog-off. But what really matters is how much has been reworked, and this comes with a full graphical overhaul, gameplay improvements and 80 hours of play. Wild Hearts. Beginning a very tenuous theme of heart-based games in February is Wild Hearts, the latest original from EA. Think Monster Hunter mixed with, well, more Monster Hunter, and you're pretty much there. Wild Hearts looks to be a big bet from EA Originals. It certainly looks lavish, with overgrown fauna stomping about glorious environments. Where Wild Hearts deviates from Monster Hunter though, is an onus in creating technology, rather than as scalping your trophies and wearing them as gear. There's a significant crafting system and tech tree to ensure that your monster hunting gear is very different from that of your friends. Atomic Heart. See, told you there was another Hearts-based game in February. Atomic Heart really came out of nowhere, didn't it? But there's no doubting that it looks very, very good indeed, and we can't wait to give it a spin. It's like a ramshackle Bioshock, and that's the compliment that we intend it to be. As the owner of the polymer glove, you're able to dabble in telekinesis, freezing, electricity bolts, and many other abilities. It's lucky that you've got one, as the world is overrun by malevolent mechanical, technological, and biological threats. But, as the old saying goes, if it's got a heart, you can kill it with your overpowered glove. Blood Bowl 3. Developed by Cyanide, the studio who brought you Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl 1, Blood Bowl 3 is going to be a very exciting release to a very specific group of people. What makes this one notable is that Blood Bowl 3 adheres to the relatively new 2nd edition rule set for Blood Bowl. It's the first of the game to do so, So those of you who are coming to the video game series off the back of the miniatures will feel immediately at home. For everyone else, well, it's more orcs, nurgles and dwarves beating 7 shades out of each other while holding a football, which has a certain appeal. Clash, Artifacts of Chaos. Every month we like to reserve some space for the surprise packages, games that didn't really register on our radar until we started putting together the up next list. Clash, Artifacts of Chaos is very much that game. You play Pseudo, a master of martial arts who's drawn to a small creature by the music it plays. An unusual partnership develops as you bond with this boy and try to evade mercenaries who are either on your tail or the creatures. What unravels is a deep fantasy story and some crunchy melee combat as you move through the world of Xenozoic and try to figure out what the hell is going on. Scars Above. Maybe we've got dead space on the mind, as Scars Above is ringing all sorts of bells. You play Dr. Kate Ward, a scientist and not a soldier, as she has to learn to fight after waking up in the middle of an alien infestation. She was originally sent to investigate the Metahedron, a hulking alien superstructure that may well be the cause of the hazardous goings-on. Scars Above comes from the little-known outfit Madhead Games, but what they've crafted is a gorgeous alien world that mostly wants to eat you, and eat you it will, as this is a game with the difficulty dial turned up to Returnal and Soulsborne levels. We can already tell we're going to be rubbish at it. Like a Dragon, Ishin. Like a Dragon, Ishin is the second in the Like a Dragon series, and this time it's feudal. We're reversing back in time for a history lesson delivered by the many favourite cast members of the Yakuza series and spin-offs. 4 combat styles are there to be mastered as you move seamlessly from the swordsman, to the gunman, to the wild dancer, and finally the brawler. Fashion Police Squad. Finally, we end on the game that tickled us the most when we started investigating the list. Who knows whether it would be any good? All we know is that the premise alone has us reaching for our wallet. If you're used to stepping out with socks in sandals, big shoulder pads or poorly tailored jackets, then watch out. The Fashion Police Squad have you in their sights. Armed with a tailor-made sewing machine and the belt of justice, they stalk the streets, shooting the shabby and gang-tackling the outmoded. And just like that, we come to the end of February's finest Xbox games. At a lean 28 days, you would have thought it would have been lighter on good games than other months, but it really does have some belters. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and please let us know which Xbox games you are most looking forward to playing through February 2023.